Good morning, friends. It's time for another video, and this time again it's me and capacitors and an amplifier of a couple of decades old. What I have here on the table is a Krell KSA100S, and the owner phoned me and said he is experiencing high levels of hum on this amplifier, and this after he had it serviced and repaired by the technician of his choice. So I went over to him, and the moment he turned on the amplifier and the relays clicked in, it was just apparent that the hum and the buzz was just absolutely unbearable. It's something that you just couldn't ignore in any way whatsoever. So I brought the amplifier back with me to my place, and when I opened it, to my absolute dismay, I found that, apart from the big original capacitors that's not been replaced, obviously they are really expensive capacitors. There's some capacitors that have been replaced, like those guys over there with lesser quality types, and there at the bottom, that blue one hiding there below the bias switch. And then what I'm querying is that I have not even checked this out yet, is if the tantalum caps have been replaced. But capacitors like those over there, you can see they are dusty. They're still original, untouched, clearly not been replaced at all. Then moving over this side, we have some caps there that's been replaced very badly. Let me just get the light levels up very badly. And then I don't know what's going on in this corner. There's some caps that's been, I don't know if they were replaced or just removed, or if that's some old caps that's been put in there, because they look out of place. They appear to be old Matsushita capacitors. Unfortunately, I can't bend them in any way to see the branding on them, but they're those classic 70s purple Matsushita caps, that later was Panasonic, or later became Panasonic. But this board, the right-hand board, is a flip mirrored board of the left-hand board. And if you look there at the bottom there, the type of caps that's installed on that side as opposed to those there, that doesn't make sense. That's not the same type of capacitors. And then down there, untouched, not replaced. Those capacitors over there, not replaced. For some reason there's a wire cut there, don't know why. Here I see there's some either collector or emitter resistors that's been, I don't know, I don't even know what to call that. It's been made to fit there, made to work there. Because if you look at the other channel over there, they've got all the original resistors in the relevant spots. Those capacitors over there, still original, not been replaced. Capacitors like these, Philips types, still original. But over there, those badly replaced. I don't know, they're just sitting in all kinds of angles and nooks and crannies. And then caps like these. There's an electrolytic cap that's original to this amplifier, not been replaced. So the rule still applies that if you have a capacitor or two in an amplifier of this age, this is an amplifier from the early 90s, and you have some failing capacitors, go the extra mile and replace all of them. And also, since this is a Class A amplifier, replace them with 105 degree temperature rating type capacitors, and use the best capacitors that you can afford. I'm not suggesting that you have to go over the top and use ultra uber high-end capacitors, but just use sensible Rubicon or Nippon Chemicon or Nichicon, decent capacitors from a reputable supplier. And one last word on large capacitors like these. I've in my electronics journeys, I've come to have learned that sometimes these capacitors they have a much longer lifespan than a small capacitor, because obviously you're sitting with a much bigger bulk here. But yeah, that's the end of this episode.